Hi everybody. Peter and George, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Peter Hodge. I'm a principal software engineer on the gameplay team for World of Warcraft, and I'm here today to answer any questions you have about warbands.
And I'm
Okay.
George Velev. I'm a gameplay producer working on the combat team primarily, so things like hero talents, classes, PvP. I'm happy to chat.
Mi nombre es Nirva. En redes sociales me conocen como Nirvaxi. Soy streamer latinoamericana de WoW. Soy jugadora de WoW desde Vanilla. Siempre he jugado Hunter. Y muchas gracias por esta plática conmigo. La verdad estoy muy nerviosa, pero muchas gracias por la oportunidad. Quisiera saber acerca de las Warbands, si tienen planes para personalizar la parte de los personajes, con backgrounds, con companions, con poses y con animaciones.
So do you guys have any plans on customizing the screen for Warbands, like something like backgrounds, pets, poses, animations, or something like that?
Sort of the new character select screen is an evergreen feature that we want to continue expanding and improving on and adding to over time. We've already talked about how we're going to be adding some new background scenes to collect in some fashion throughout the War Within's lifetime. Beyond that, we're certainly open to the idea of adding additional customizations, whether it be adding examples could be adding things like maybe players want to see their mounts or their pets or whatever other kind of things they could customize, change the poses on their characters. Those are all kind of ideas we'd love to consider if that's what players feel is are going to be good additions to that screen. We've got a long list of our own stuff that we'd like to improve on there as well. So certainly in partnership with the player base, we'd like to do more with that scene as we move forward through the War Within and beyond.
La siguiente pregunta es que entiendo que necesitamos mecanismos para gastar oro en el juego, con tanto oro circulando en la actualidad, pero para un jugador casual o un jugador nuevo, va a ser difícil juntar la cantidad de oro para poder comprar las tabs del banco compartido. Entonces, yo quería saber si los precios que publicaron son los que se van a quedar o va a haber alguna otra manera de desbloquearlos, ya sea con logros o con objetivos de juego.
Okay. So we understand that we need gold sinks in the game with that many gold going around nowadays. But I feel like for casual players, a somewhat can be real hard to and expensive to buy most of the tabs on the Warbands bank, for example, especially the last ones. Do you guys have any plans for accommodating this for more casual players that do not have that crazy amount of gold standing around on their banks, or are those prices final? And or maybe you guys have some plans to maybe unlock some of those tabs through achievements or any kind of goals or some sort of objective like that?
No plans currently. The prices on the Warband Bank tab unlocks, they're sort of final for launch. I don't think we're planning to make any changes for the immediate War Within launch. We'll certainly be listening to player feedback on those prices. Those last two tabs in particular are currently intended to be something of an aspirational kind of goal for players who want to pursue that and sort of open that extra space. But if player feedback is that that's not really working or that's a bit too restrictive, we'll certainly be listening to that, and if we feel changes are appropriate, we can certainly consider those.
Yo quería saber, porque hay unos ítems que se ligan a la Warband, si hay alguna diferencia en un ítem que está ligado al Warband o es lo mismo que un bind on account.
So she wanted to know if the Warband, there's a couple of items which are bind on Warband, and she wanted to know like what's the difference from the bind on account? Like, is there any difference at all or something?
So there's a couple of changes that we've made to binding types in the War Within. The first one is that anything that used to be kind of labeled as, like, I think it used to be called binds to Battle.net account, or something like that. That's effectively just been renamed to be Warbound. And a Warbound item is one that you can just kind of freely trade around your among all the characters on your warband. So heirlooms are a good example of something that used to be binds to Battle.net account, is now just a warband item. And those warband items can of course go in the warband bank. You can take them out on any character. There's a new type of binding called warband until equipped, which acts as a warband item, so you can pass it around to your characters, put it in the warband bank until you equip it on one of your characters, at which point it becomes traditionally soulbound, and you can no longer trade it to another character or put it into the warband bank.
También había visto que ahora van a poderse transferir algunas monedas con tus personajes, pero hay unas que todavía no son transferibles, que me supongo que es porque al inicio pues te ayudaría bastante para armarte. Yo quiero saber si esas monedas, después de cierto parche o tal vez después del Hall of Fame, las puedes compartir con tus personajes.
So there are some currencies that nowadays they aren't transferable to other characters, possibly to time gate character progression. Is there any plans or will those currencies be able to be transferred after X amount of time, or maybe after World First or Server First or Hall of Fame or something like that?
Nothing specific to announce at the moment. That's certainly something we can look at. As we progress into the War Within, and if there is feedback that some of those currencies that are not currently transferable to other characters on your account, if the feedback is players really want to see that, we can certainly look at those. I think you're absolutely right. There are some currencies that we have to be very careful with in this regard, because they may affect the ability of characters to progress early on in an expansion in a way that that mucks with the kind of individual character power progression too much. So yeah, we're certainly happy to take a look at those as time goes on and as player feedback comes in as to which currencies make the most sense to be transferable across your warband.
Para terminar con el tema de las Warbands, quería felicitarlos y agradecerles por enfrentar esta terrible tarea. Creo que es un cambio enorme en términos de calidad de vida que todos hemos estado pidiendo durante mucho tiempo y se siente bien saber que lo estamos recibiendo. Dada la complejidad de esto, ¿cuál es el aspecto más difícil que encontraron durante la transición?
So basically, to finish the Warbands discussion, she wants to congratulate you, and I can include myself in it as well, on facing this incredible task. So this is like a huge quality of life change, and that the community have been asking for such a long time. That it feels so good that we are getting it. And it must not have been an easy task to do it. So with that in mind, what's the most difficult aspect you guys encountered during this transition?
Great question, and thank you very much for the compliment. It has definitely been a labor of love from a number of engineers and designers on the team, sort of building this set of features out. I think the challenges, speaking from an engineering perspective, the challenges we faced kind of fell into kind of two big buckets, I think, in terms of most difficult. One was because we're moving a decent amount of data from being character specific to now being account wide, the process of kind of converting your account from taking all that character specific data and moving it, copying it to its new location at the account level it is a very big, complex, kind of data intensive process that we have spent a lot of time on. We didn't want players to have to kind of log into each of their characters one after the other to kind of have their data be kind of included in the warband. We wanted that to be as seamless as possible for players on day one when the pre-patch goes live. So there's this warbandification process that happens to kind of grab all that data, put it at the account level. So that process was very challenging and involved a lot of work. But hopefully it all goes well on patch day. The other set of challenges I think that we faced, as a consequence of having more data at the account level, is as soon as you have data there, you open the door to a new set of challenges where for those players who play multiple characters at the same time, you can now have a situation where a single piece of data at the account level can be manipulated, either being read to or read from or written to by multiple characters at the same time. So that's a sort of whole category of computer science programming problems that we now have to face with some of these new systems, making sure that we protect the integrity of that data, that players can't updates from two players at the same time don't accidentally stomp over each other and kind of you lose data. So yeah, that whole sort of set of kind of engineering problems was something we had to sort of deal with a number of the Warbands features.
Bueno, ahora voy a hacer unas preguntas de los Hero Talents, que creo que son bastante buenos. Me gustaron mucho las animaciones de algunos. Creo que le agregaron un extra a las specs de la clase. Pero me preocupa un poco el balance de las clases porque hay unos talentos que se ven muy poderosos. Y yo que he jugado Hunter toda la vida y pienso seguir haciéndolo a pesar de que esté abajo en DPS, me da un poquito de envidia ver que los Warlocks sumonean demonios grandes, que los magos sumonean meteoros, fénixes, los decas pueden invocar los 4 jinetes de Naxxramas. Y personalmente los Hero Talents de Hunter no se me hicieron muy especiales a comparación de las otras clases. Quisiera saber si hay algún plan para que cada talento de héroe sea visualmente atractivo.
So now for the hero talents. They are really awesome at first. Like this is the first thing that you wanted to tell. And they really they make you feel powerful and definitely add flavor to your class specs. As everyone, I'm a bit worried a little bit about class balance. Because it's like way more additions to the game, and especially when it comes to some of the classes being stronger than others. For example, Nirvax is a loyal hunter main. She plays hunters since she was a little girl, and she will keep playing hunter even if they don't necessarily reach the peak DPS or when you guard into comparison with other classes. However, she does feel a little bit jealous when she saw like Warlock summoning big demons, Mage summoning multiple Meteor and Phoenixes, DK summoning the 4 horsemen from Nax. And she doesn't see the hunter talents, hero talents, to do anything visually special. Is there any plan to make every hero talent visually attractive?
First of all, thank you. I'm really glad you're excited. I've been not a hunter main, I'm a shaman main though since day one, so I totally get the whole, sick through it thick and thin. In terms of, the visual aspect of hero talents, it was a goal of ours to make sure that, one hero talent tree for one spec and the other feel visually distinct from each other. If there are some places where we feel like we need to make updates, post-launch, all of that is certainly on the table. We want it to feel like if you're, outside questing and you see a hunter and, you watch them for like, few seconds, you can see that they are a Dark Ranger or Pack Leader. That's a big part of what Hero Talent should be. It should be about empowering your class fantasy. So, much like classes, much like specs, over the course of Dragonflight, we plan to sort of take care of hero talents in the same way. If there are updates needed, if there's iteration needed, if there's tuning needed, which I mean, not if there will be tuning, but there's always is tuning on the combat team. But none of that is off the table. So yeah, frequent updates and iterations down the line are definitely on the books for hero talents. This is just part one of hero talents going forward. It's an evergreen system. It's going to be around for, multiple expansions. So we definitely plan to, take care of it in the right way.
Siento que los Hero Talents son muy interesantes, te hacen sentir como si hubieras ascendido a tu spec y lo lleva a otro nivel, porque lo combinas con otros specs para crear una subspec, creo. Quisiera saber si habrá historia detrás de cada Hero Talent, o sea, un lore, y cómo llegamos a dominarlos.
So as she was saying on the next question, she feels that her hero talents are very interesting and they make you feel like you ascended your normal spec and have either mastered them to another level or combine the knowledge is already known for that class to create like a new thing. Is that when related to lore, will be a lore behind every hero talent? And if so, there's any way that we can master them, or how's the story behind the way that the character reaches that hero talent?
Gotcha. Well, I'm really excited that you like the lore behind some of these. Some of these are really sort of part of World of Warcraft's history. You know, Mountain Thane for Warrior, that's, you know, a clear calling to Warcraft 3. Dark Ranger is, you know, pretty obvious who it's
Silvanas.
referring to. Yeah. For launch, we don't really have any plans for, you know, additional quest or lore content, but this is just, you know, the first step of hero talents. A lot of the future will be sort of, you know, reacting to how things go, iterating and updating when necessary. So, you know, as of right now, no current plans for any sort of questing or additional lore, but who knows down the line what's going to happen. So it sounds really interesting, but, you know, nothing we can really confirm for launch for right now.
Vamos a esperar tener más Hero Talents en futuros parches o expansiones. Los Hero Talents cambian tanto la manera de jugar que siento que podríamos estar recibiendo Hero Talents para evolucionar los roles. Cosas de ese tipo han ocurrido en Season of Discovery, por ejemplo, que hay magos de healer o shaman tanque. Es una posibilidad en retail.
Should we expect to have more hero talents on future patches or expansions? Hero talents, they changed gameplay so much that they made me think that we could be getting some hero talents that could evolve into a much evolve a role that much, just like in a Season of Discovery. So, for example, a mage healer or a shaman tank or anything like that. Is that a possibility? Something that you guys are considering?
You know, never say never to what comes down the line. I will say for launch specifically, we intentionally tried to make sure that hero talents weren't augmenting your role too much. In fact, initially when we did a lot of our earlier previews, Oracle Priest was previewed and it was very much support oriented or support leaning, and we got, you know, awesome feedback that it was probably a little bit too much for, you know, changing how that role played. So the goal for the War Within hero talents was, you know, keep your role, don't sort of stray too much from what you're already doing and just add additional layer of gameplay. That being said, you know, much like how classes and specs evolve over the course of Dragonflight, I'm sure hero talents are going to evolve as well. So as of right now, we're not really planning on adding, you know, additional roles by hero talents, but it's just the beginning. So, you know, a lot of stuff's on the table.
¿Tendremos los mismos Hero Talents a lo largo de la expansión o hay plan para expandir el árbol que se me hace un poquito pequeño, pero podría ser que es porque se va a expandir tal vez en futuros parches?
Will we be having the same hero talents over the expansion, or there's plans to change or expand those those hero talent trees that right now they are great, but I'm afraid they're a little bit smaller when compared to the other the talent trees that the other trees that we have to upgrade our characters. Is that something discussion for future patches?
Interesting. You know, potentially, but we haven't really sort of our focus really has been on the War Within launch for now. You know, as I mentioned previously, it's a lot of hero talents features can depend on how sort of players sort of pick them up. If they feel like they're, you know, too complex, you know, not complex enough, we'll have to make a lot of adjustments in that regard if that's what pops up. But in terms of sort of adding additional hero talents, for launch, we're really happy with the 39 that we do have. We don't really plan on adding more for launch, but down the line, you know, it's hard to say. Certainly possible, but can't really, you know, commit one way or the other.
Los Hero Talents son una mecánica tipo poder prestado, creo que se dice Borrow Power, o planean profundizarlos y dejarlos para futuras expansiones.
Should we expect hero talents as a kind of borrowed power mechanic, or is the plan to double down or on hero talents and expand or create new hero talents?
We're not treating hero talents as a temporary system. We're considering evergreen. We use evergreen a lot, but what we mean by that is it's going to be around for multiple expansions. It's not going anywhere. So, you know, for all intents and purposes, you know, once we launch the War Within, once players hit 71 for the first time and they can put their first point in whatever trade they want to pick, that is part of your class and spec identity. And we're going to, you know, do our best to take care of them, do as much iteration and tuning as we do on classes and specs towards hero talents. And yeah, it's not really a temporary system. We're not really treating it like that. It's going to be part of your character going forward for, you know, multiple expansions.
He jugado también otras clases y tengo tiempo de no jugarlos, pero con los Hero Talents me dan ganas de subir mis alts, ¿no? Tengo Mago, tengo Priest, tengo Warlock también. Entonces voy a tratar de subirlos para probarlos. Porque siento que hacen que la rotación sea más dinámica. Yo quisiera saber a ellos cuáles les gustan más.
So as she mentioned, she's really excited about her talents, and that they really make her want to level out for every class. So she does have warlocks. She does have is it shaman, Nueva?
No, mago, warlock y priest.
Mage, warlock, and priest. Yes, and they're like visually amazing, and like to like evolve the gameplay. Like it's really awesome to have the opportunity. On your perspective, can you share which hero talents are you most fond of, or which ones you prefer and why?
Kick us off, Peter.
So for me, I primarily play a Guardian Druid as my main, mostly kind of pursuing dungeon tanking. So I'm really looking forward to trying out the two for Guardian Druid, Keeper of the Grove, and Wild something. I forget the other one. But
Yep.
yeah, but what I'm really excited about, just one of my other characters is a mage, and I always play them as a frost mage. And so I'm really excited to get to grips with the Frostfire hero talent tree. That looks really cool.
For me, I can't pick one. They're all my children. I love them equally. It's hard for me to pick one. I will say it's no secret I've played Shaman for a long time. Played it since day one. So I'm really excited for Totemic for Resto Shaman. I'm also really excited for Farseer for Resto Shaman. I just really like summoning spirits. I think is really cool. I think that level of like spiritual magic in Shaman's fantasy is a little bit something we've tapped into a little bit, but I think it's really interesting to see a hero talent tree take it to the next level. Also, I like totems, so having more totems by Totemic is really cool. I'm also really excited for like Herald of the Sun Paladin. I think Lightsman Paladin is super cool. I really love Voidweaver Disc Priest. It's hard for me to pick. I play a lot of healers, so I kind of like all of them. But yeah, those are just a few.
Todas mis preguntas. Quiero aprovechar la oportunidad para agradecerles todo el esfuerzo y el tiempo que han dedicado para nosotros, o sea, para hacer estos juegos. Yo he jugado esto, siento que toda mi vida, y espero seguir acompañándolo.
She really want to thank all your hard work that you've been doing. She plays this game for like almost all of her life, so it's a passion. So thank you, and keep doing the awesome work. And let's hope it goes a long way still, because I still have a lot more to play.
Yeah, we're not
Thank you
going
so
anywhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully, World of Warcraft will be around for a long time yet. And yeah, and thank you very much. I really hope you enjoy what we've built for you. Come pre-patch and come August 26th for the expansion launch.
It's all coming very soon.
Yeah,
I'm excited that you're hyped. We are too.